Hello everyone, let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So let's talk about it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So this is a new movie that's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been lacking lately. But this is more of a new movie that's returning to form with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because the MCU hasn't been in a good track record lately, but this movie definitely brings up the hype of what a Marvel movie is supposed to bring. So let's start talking about the greats. The great part about this movie is Rocket's backstory. This is finally out of the third installment. Out of all the times we've seen Rocket, he finally gets his own backstory, and that's what this movie really shines in. And since we know Rocket so well, in his backstory, you might get hit in the feels because you know this character for a very long time. And that's what a backstory is meant to make you feel. These new characters they introduce in his backstory really gets you in the feels, and they really become memorable and you stay becoming likable. And that's what this movie does great, is with the family aspect and the backstory aspect, and comes together and becomes a beautiful movie. And that's one of my favorite parts of this movie, is Rocket's backstory. There is a lot of action in this movie too, which are really good and memorable. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that you don't know what's going to happen, and it makes it so much better being surprised like that. This is a movie that you could watch multiple times, but the shock factor could only happen once. And watching this movie, this is one of the best Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and it really shows. James Gunn did a great job bringing these misfits together and creating something great. And it didn't even seem like it would do that good back then. But now we're here with the third installment, becoming one of the great movies of this year, especially a Marvel movie. This is one of the great Marvel movies that we got since Spider-Man No Way Home. And that's what makes this a fantastic movie all in one. And now, let's start talking about the alright parts. The alright part is about Rocket not doing much. Even though it's talking about his backstory, Rocket is barely in this movie. And that's what makes it alright and a little bit upsetting. Rocket is unconscious through literally until the third act of this movie. All you see Rocket is in his backstory. And that's what makes this movie alright. But they have to have a unique story to go along with it, and Rocket being hurt and unconscious is a story plot to move the story forward. And I would say that's an alright part, but it ends up turning great later. And so I can't really think of any bad parts about this movie. This movie is great, definitely worth watching, but there's a lot of animal cruelty in this movie. I wouldn't recommend bringing your kids to see this movie, but other than that, without the animal cruelty part, and there's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes with this movie, but this movie is great all the way. And it's definitely a jam-packed experience worth watching in theaters. And if I have to give it a percentage, like Rotten Tomatoes percentage, I will give this movie a 92%. I know it's not like in the higher standards of movies, but it's definitely one of the best movies of this year, and I give it that ranking because there is some things wrong with this movie, but most of it makes up with the great parts of this movie. And I would definitely recommend watching this in theaters. It's a good experience. Go out there, watch it with your significant other. It's a great movie with that. And it continues off with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And there is 2 end credits, so don't forget to watch that. So, have you guys seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Let me know down in the comments below what is your favorite Guardians movie or your favorite MCU movie in general. Leave it down in the comments below. And like always, this is Clark Nation Reviews, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.